So we're about a week into the current throwback rotation format, and in what is slowly becoming something of a tradition on this channel, I guess, I decided to once again attempt to climb the GM with only sword. This time around it didn't take very long at all. I finished it in like 4 days. It's probably a combination of sword being both strong and fairly easy to play this expansion, as well as it just being a really fun deck which made me play it more, so the climb kind of just finished itself as I was playing the game. So yeah, today's video will be about the deck list I used to climb. Now earlier in this period I made a video about Evo Rally Sword, which is the popular sword list, I guess. It has fairly good results in tournaments and it's played, I think, by most people who are trying to play sword at this point, but this is exactly the list I decided not to play for most of my climb. I did play it at the start because I needed to get footage for the video, but after that I just switched over to what today's video will be about, which is Evo Rally Sword. The reason why I like playing Evo Rally Sword is because it has more powerful mid to late game and has much better burst damage, which I find pretty fun. I don't really like playing like aggressive style decks that aim to try to kill your opponent as fast as possible. It's just not my thing. So we're playing Evo Rally Sword, which is more a late game, or rather mid game focused, I guess. It's also more expensive, so there's that. I mean, I own most of the cards, so it didn't really bother me, but yeah, this is much more expensive than just even regular Evo Rally Sword, which is expensive on its own. Yeah, I think this deck might be the most expensive deck like in the entire format, so try it at your own risk, I guess. But anyway, yeah, this is the deck that I'll be playing for today's video, and also the deck I used to finish most of my GM climb, so let's jump into the deck list. So this is the list that we'll be playing for today's video and the list that I played for my climb. It is adapted from a video from a Japanese player named Maito, who I will link in the description. He is my go-to when it comes to sword, so if you're trying to learn sword or want to find sword decks, he is, I think, the best resource, I guess, to look for. But yeah, that's that. Let's get back to the list, I guess. So this is the list that I'm playing. It's honestly pretty straightforward, I think. You just run 3 off of like this good stuff. The differences, I guess I should explain from like standard Evo Rally Sword. First, we run Adherent of Hollowness over 1 cost like Penguin and Quick Blader. Adherent of Hollowness can evolve. That's basically it. Like, he's a free evo, that's why we run him. No reason to run Penguin or Quick Blader over this when we're going for a mid to late game. Other than that, we run 3 Blade Rider Lieutenant. Some run 1, some run 2 in aggro, but in evo we run 3 because again he has the ability to evolve for free. We're also a bit slower on rally with fewer like 1 cost followers that we can play from early on, so running more copies of Blade Rider Lieutenant will help with your rally. I also cut the what's that called, Battlefield Summons, because the rally is a bit slower in this deck and we are running Blade Rider Lieutenant anyway, so running multiple copies of Summons is not that good. And then 1 Leot, because again our rally is slower, therefore our followers destroyed will be slower as well, so his free evo will come in less handy. And we're pushing, well, we have more burst damage, so we don't necessarily need Leot setup as much as Evo Rally might do. And then of course the star of the show for this list is Kagemitsu, because he is the main reason why you play Evo is for Kagemitsu. He runs burst damage. You can set him up early on and he can create up to 6 burst damage out of nowhere for you, and even if you play him from hand, he contributes 6 damage, which is pretty solid. It's to pair along with Erica, it's much more burst damage without having to rely on double Erica. If you played Evo Rally Sword, you might realize that there's only so much damage you can get out with a single Erica, and usually if you want to burst like 10 plus damage, like 15 damage, you need double Erica. In this list, we can run Kagemitsu so that we have more options, and if Kagemitsu comes out of his own effect instead of having to play from hand, we can get even more damage out that way. And then the last card that is more unique to Evo Sword is Monochrome Endgame. In aggro, this card is a bit too slow, I think, for the game plan of trying to rush your opponent down, but in Evo Sword, this game plan is perfect. It gives you 2 free evos, it gives you a bunch of free followers and some bonuses, so yeah, pretty solid. It also gives you has the bonus effect of being really good against Sword Mirror, so there's that. This is the list that we're playing, and let's jump into the games. Now our first match for today is against Rune, and we are going first. Against Rune, I think you can expect it to be Spellboost. For the Mulligan, once again, it's pretty similar to Aggro Rally for the most part. You just keep your Rally followers. For one cost, you only keep Bumpkin Recruit. Adherent isn't really worth keeping early on. You want to save it for late game for your Evo contribution. And then for 2 cost cards, you can just keep Victorious Blader and Blade Right Lieutenant, and then Cat and Emerald if you're going second. And that's basically it for the Mulligan. If you have all the cards you need, you might consider keeping like Kagemitsu or Erika or something like that. And there are some situational keeps for matchup, but for the most part, I think going for Pumpkin Recruit, Blade Right Lieutenant, Victorious Blader, and going second, you keep Cat Emerald is pretty solid. So our game's pretty straightforward. We just want to play rally count. We just go ahead and play our followers, punch them in the face. Their early game is pretty slow as well. Unfortunately, we don't have as much pressure as an aggro list to capitalize on their slower early game, so there's that, but we have a lot of burst damage, so we don't really need to pressure their life that much either. So we can go ahead and set our Kagemitsu here. There's actually nothing to do besides set Kagemitsu. Kagemitsu also contributes a decent amount to your rally, like 2 usually. And we pick up Leon off the top, so since we don't have anything else to do, we can just drop the Leon. It won't really like do anything too major, but it's just like a little bit of tempo and rally, and we can do a bit of damage to their face. Nolan drops the Shakang Wizard, which is like the worst enemy of Sword, I guess. It clears our white bar, which is not good for our ability to pressure our opponent down. Luckily for us though, we do have Kagemitsu set up, so we can look for burst damage that way. We also have Erika in hand, so things aren't looking too bad for us. And go ahead and drop Bellringer here. We just try to improve our hand by drawing a card with Bellringer. Pick up Takemitsu here. Taketsumi, sorry. When I'm talking about this deck, I always confuse Kagemitsu and Taketsumi, but yeah. We'll just go ahead and set out our rally count with the Victorious Blader. We're at 8 now, so pretty solid count. With Kagemitsu coming out next turn, we will be at 9, so we can look to see some what we can do next turn with that. But yeah, let's go ahead and play another Chakram Wizard, which is annoying. They've played 8 different spells, so we have to watch out for the ultimate magic soon. There's the Kagemitsu here. And of course turn 6 we're always gonna play Monochrome. And then we can use the rush to get rid of our Kagemitsu here, in case they run any weird banishes, and also just to set it up so that we can look for a turn 8 lethal. Generally, Kagemitsu's last words will help you plan out when your lethal turn is. Usually you find lethal on the turn he comes out, evolved. If your opponent's playing well, they might be able to stop you from doing that, but that's the general game plan. My opponent does have the 3rd Chakang Wizard as well, which is quite unfortunate, so our entire board will disappear. There it goes, but this is fine. We're still looking at lethal like the following turn anyway, so this time we just tie ourselves over. And when it comes to tying ourselves over, well, Octress is still an option I think, but in this case we go ahead and use Taketsumi, who will recover a bunch of Evo points. In case we don't have lethal next turn, we might be able to do some cheesy strategy next turn with what's his face, with Musketeers off the top. So putting ourselves at 2 Evo points is good. We also need to set out our rally count. Okay, our rally count's completely fine. What we needed to set was our Evo count, sorry. Anyway, there's the counter magic from my opponent, and insight as well. And a stone bullet. Another insight. And a seraphic blade, which will clear our stuff. They do leave the Corpse Master alive though, which is very bad for them, so out comes the Kagemitsu. And we can use Erika. In this case we only use one Erika because we don't have much board space to play with, so go ahead and play the Erika here. Evolve our Erika to pick up Erika's Slide. We can summon a Quick Blader to get rid of their damage shield. The damage shield is quite annoying for this deck, but we have Quick Blader for that, I guess. Then we can overkill them here. So that's it for this game. Let's move on to the next game. So for our next match here, we have a mirror against Sword, and we are going second. Going second is generally worse, but we have Cat Admiral, so we're gonna definitely keep Cat Admiral. Neither of the other 2 cards are good early on, so we toss them. Erika is okay. Musketeer's Vow is quite good against the mirror. You might consider keeping a Musketeer's Vow in the Mulligan, especially if you're going first in the mirror, I think. So the sword mirror functions sort of like a series of checkpoints, like there are certain turns you have to watch out for. And then if you can figure out how to answer your opponent on those turns, you are in decent shape usually. So in this case, we don't really have a good turn to play. We're definitely saving Cat Admiral for turn 4. We could play Guiding Bell Ringer, but I think we want to answer this Cat Admiral. We don't want to let it stay on board. So we play Taketsumi here, even though he might be better off recovering Evo points later on. But we need to answer this Cat Admiral, so we go ahead and do that. And then we just drop Liot so they can clear a bunch of their followers, and that should be helpful. Especially Adherent. And there's Kagemitsu, so this is going to be an Evo Sword Mirror, so they're also playing Evo. There goes their Knight, which is good. And then of course, as we plan, we play Cat Admiral. Now if you're playing in the mirror, the first match, if you're going first in the mirror, the first checkpoint to watch out for is turn 4 Cat Admiral, because you need an answer for this. If you can't answer this, you are in trouble. Because unfortunately for us sword players, we don't actually have good board clears. So the Cat Admiral can be annoying. Especially since on turn 5 as sword, you want to be playing Musketeer's Vow in the mirror. But if our opponent plays Cat Admiral, it's very hard to find space to play the Musketeer's Vow, especially with a Bell Ringer alongside it. So if you're going first, maybe you drop a Leon on turn 4 or something, and that will help you. But yeah, that's my opponent's Musketeer's Vow. Fortunately for us, they cannot go for the Athos. They have to go for the Porthos here because Athos will not be able to answer the Cat Admiral. But they will go ahead and clear our Cat Admiral, which is good for them, I guess. And they managed to hit our Leon, which is a bit unfortunate. But it's fine. We don't really want to answer this with a Musketeer's Vow, even though we could. Honestly, it's not even that bad. You go Musketeer's Vow here, pick Aramis and Athos. Athos Evo trade into Aramis, and then Aramis and the Heavy Knight can trade into Porthos here for 5-6 on board, but it's not like the best thing you could be doing, so I thought that leaving a 4-6 ward Bell Ringer here would be more helpful. We can save Musketeer for the late game instead and just punch them in the face. That's Banking Recruit for my opponent, and Octress as well, so they have no monochrome, which is good for us. And they will go ahead and evolve their Octress here. And they go ahead and trade. And they will fuse as well. There's a Goblet, not that it matters what they fuse here really. And then they go ahead and play a Blade Rice Lieutenant. We have the same number of Evo points, so they are not going to be able to evolve it, but there is the Corpse Master as well. But we do have the Monochrome Engram, so that's fine. Go ahead and trade off into the Octress here. Try to keep our Chimera healthy so that it survives Taketsumi, and get more value out of it by having it survive longer. By keeping it our Chimera at 6 health, Taketsumi can't clear it, which is good for us. And there's their Kagemitsu as well. Normally for turn 7, you have to watch out for what's his face, Victoria's Blader. In this case, if they drop Victoria's Blader though, I have Musketeer's Vow to answer it, so wasn't that worried. There is their Taketsumi, which they will evolve. And then they will hit our Chimera, and then Kagemitsu will clear our whole board, and there's the Corpse Master. Look at my opponent's played cards. They've played one Corpse Master, so they're out of Corpse Masters now, so we gotta remember that. Go ahead and drop the Adherent here. We need to clear that board, so that's our priority. And Taketsumi as well. We can go ahead and evolve our Taketsumi here. This will put us at 6 evos after this Adherent evolves, and we can also heal with the Goblet, which is great. Which will mean that Kagemitsu can do more damage here. I misplayed, by the way. This was a mistrade, but I think it ends up being fine. But this was a mistrade. There was a cleaner way to clear this, but I didn't do it. And then there's the Frenzied Corpse Master as well. And there's their Musketeer's Vow. So here, or we can just continue, I guess. My opponent chooses not to evolve here. They could have evolved Athos here to heal 4 health if they wanted to, which they chose not to. So because of that, we end up having lethal here. But if they didn't do that, what we could have done is, if they evolved Athos here, we could have played Musketeer's Vow as well. And then we trade our Aramis into the Athos. And then we can trade Dart again into their into their Porthos, yes, into their Porthos. We evolve our own Athos, trade into this to heal 5, and then Porthos will clear the Aramis, so we will be able to answer their board with Athos and Porthos still standing. So even if they did evolve here and escape from lethal range, we had a decent way to answer their board while putting out our own, so that was fine for us. But since we have lethal here, we just have lethal here, so we can drop Erica here, and then Musketeer's Vow. Erica in the Musketeer's Vow is a pretty standard trick that you should probably remember if you are attempting to go far in your sword playing career. Then Athos will, Aramis will buff our Quick Blader so we can hit a bunch of damage here, and this is lethal, so let's move on to the next game. So for our last game for today, we have a game against Shadow, and we're going first here. We definitely do want to be going first against Shadow so we can hopefully pressure them. And then none of these are good in the mulligan, so we just toss them all. Fortunately, our hand isn't looking very good right now. We are missing a turn 1 and 2 play, which are both very important. Got a Bellringer Angel, which we can play on turn 2, I guess, so it's not that bad. And a Bunking Recruit, so definitely drew that in the wrong order, but nothing we can do about that, so we go ahead and drop the Bellringer. And my opponent is gonna play Guild Elise, which we don't really mind, I guess. Got Corpse Master here, which can accelerate for the rally. Unfortunately, we've already drawn 2 Corpse Masters, so things aren't looking great for us. This turn I could Corpse Master. Well, we trade first. I could Corpse Master Bunkin Recruit, but I wanted to set up Kagemitsu while we can, so we go ahead and play Kagemitsu here and Bunkin Recruit. Set him out on turn 4. He can come out on, well, if my opponent clears it, the Kagemitsu, it can come out on turn 8, if not turn 9, or turn 6 or 7. So it's either 7 or 8, I think, is usually where Kagemitsu will come out for this. Playing it there, but yeah, my opponent clears it, so he will be coming out on turn 6 and possibly turn 8 as well. We are quite a little bit behind on rally at only 5 now, so if you want to do that, go ahead and trade Bunkin Recruit first to see if we can draw something good. Nothing good, so we'll just play Taketsumi here and use it to clear the Guild Elise and then poke them in the face. Playing Taketsumi here clears their Guild Elise without spending an evil point, which is very important because we don't want to let them play Angel's Blessing without working for it. Of course, they could just play Luna into Angel's Blessing, but that will force them to do things, so by saving our evil point here, we make them make more decisions. Also, we're at rally 6, so we can look to play Octress next turn, hopefully, with the help of the Kagemitsu, which will come out next turn, and Adherent of Hollowness. And there's my opponent's Scream Diffusion, and they choose not to trade and instead using it to draw. It's fine. So that's our Kagemitsu. We pick out another Adherent here, so we have an opportunity for getting a lot of evil count here. You can see we're still at 0, so we are a bit behind. We definitely want to advance our evil count here, so we can straight away get 3 cards evolved by going for this Adherent into Octress play. All we need is 1 loot card that isn't Gilded Blade from among these 3 that we're gonna get. Unfortunately for me, the game hates me, so it gave me 3 Gilded Blades, and you can see me being very confused here. You could have literally used any other loot but Gilded Blade, but they gave us 3 Gilded Blades, so unfortunately we don't manage to evolve these 2 Adherents, but oh well, what can you do? So there's the Rune. We'll trade into Octress. And then we're gonna go ahead and use Screen Diffusion as well. They're mostly spending their turns on Rune, which is good because their Shadow spell on Necromancy is quite slow right now. And there's Nomadic Conductor as well, and they will evolve it, so we do have evil point advantage now, but they can always just play Luna, so there is that. At this point, we want to set up for lethal next turn. We have Erica and Kagemitsu in hand, so we are looking to get our rally to about 12, I think is good enough, and then followers evolve. Next time we can evolve 3 followers, so we probably want to evolve. Well, we would be at 4 if we gotten a loot last turn, but since we're only at 1, we can look to get ourselves up to 2 at least, and then next turn Erica, Kagemitsu plus the Kagemitsu from the last words will put us at 5, so Kagemitsu can use this effect. And this time we just chip some damage here, so we just evolve Cat Admiral here for the Evo count. And then we just use Remnant of Wholeness to do some damage here. And we just chip them down a bit to try to find lethal next turn. Let's call off the Great Art for my opponent. They pick up Rune here. As you can see, their shadows is still quite slow, so we're fine there. And there's the Scream Diffusion. And retracing the past as well. They will use the heal a bunch. Thankfully, they don't heal very much at all. Let me go ahead and trade. And then Krampus will leave your board empty, so we have less space to work with for Erika. Which would be a problem if we were going for double Erika, but since we are going Erika Kagemitsu, the lack of trade targets isn't really a big deal at all. Yeah, this is a pretty lucky, I guess, game that their hand wasn't too great, but then we got pretty unlucky as well, so there's that. So yeah, that's it for this game, I guess. Finish them off with this classic Kagemitsu Erika combo. That's it for the games for this video. It's my Evo Sword deck that I guess that got me to Grandmaster. If you're wondering whether you should be playing this or a Rally, it's honestly up to you. They're both like completely fine, they're completely service, so you can win quite easily with both decks, so it's just personal preference. Worth noting though, the Aggro Rally is much cheaper than, well, it's not much cheaper, but it's definitely cheaper because you don't need to craft Kagemitsu, you don't need to craft Monochrome Endgame. So if you are low on vials, you can save that way. Or if you just prefer aggro, you can play that too. But if you are like me and you like abusing Evo mechanics and you like having a solid mid game and you want the mid-range experience, then this is the deck for you, I guess. Or you could just play a different deck that's cheaper because sword decks are very expensive in this time period. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye bye.